they wrote. Native American groups have strongly contested this idea, perceiving that they have much to lose if their status as the first Americans is overturned. We will not let our heritage be hidden by those who seek to obscure it. They filed suit to have Kennewick Man, whom they believed to be their ancestor, turned over to them. Archaeologists around the world shouted their approbation. Not so much because they agreed, but because the Asatru lawsuit begged a very important question. Do some religions in America have precedence over others? Do certain racial or ethnic groups have the right to certain archaeological sites? Should Canada return the Viking archaeological sites dating to around AD 1000 to Canadians of Scandinavian heritage? Should the United States return all Hispanic archaeological sites to people of Hispanic heritage? Should the African American sites administered by the federal government be turned over to African Americans? If so, which people or persons? Is 1/8 blood enough? Does it have to be based on ethnicity? What about the beautiful historic Catholic missions in the California State Parks system? Should the state of California be forced to turn them back to the Catholic Church? And what happens to those sites once they're turned over? Is it all right if these groups destroy them? The debate isn't finished by any means. The battle over Kennewick Man has been long and arduous. As we write, a federal judge has just overturned the Department of Interior's decision to give the ancient remains to the Coalition of Indian Tribes for reburial. The Department of Interior has appealed. Will we ever know the fate of the Caucasoid peoples who first inhabited the Americas? Who they were, how they got here, what happened to them? We may still have a chance. British scientists working in Mexico have discovered 2 skulls, both older than 12,000 years, which appear to be Caucasoid. Dr. Sylvia Gonzalez of John Moores University in Liverpool says, "It looks like some of the most ancient Paleo-Americans were not of Mongoloid affinity and therefore perhaps not directly related to modern Native Americans." Working in conjunction with José Concepción Jiménez, curator of Mexico City's National Museum of Anthropology, she is in the process of analyzing the remains, including doing DNA research. No matter what they find, their work will greatly enrich our understanding of the ancient peoples of the Americas. Will we ever have the freedom to do that kind of study in the United States? It is clear to us now that the only people who can answer that question sit on the bench of the Supreme Court of the United States of America. We hope that the court will see that the rich melting pot history of America is too precious to allow it to be annihilated by religious fundamentalism of any variety. Prologue. The call comes at 10:32 p.m. I know because I look at the digital clock on the white wall of my basement laboratory. 10:32 and 24 seconds. While I dry my sweating hands on my blue jeans, my 3 colleagues around the room straighten. Dr. Kim Lacey, recently retired as chair of the anthropology department at McGill University in Quebec, wets her lips. Kim seems to be working very hard to ignore the ringing phone. She bends over the skeleton and continues measuring the femur, the thigh bone. Peering over her glasses, she jots in her notebook as fast as she can. Beads of perspiration glisten on her wrinkled forehead and mat her short graying brown hair to her temples. Dr. Sam Collier, 28 years old, with blonde hair and bright green eyes, squints at the ringing phone, then resolutely returns to measuring the orbits, the eye sockets, of the skull. My basement laboratory in Lyndon, Washington, just a few miles from the Canadian border, stretches 20 by 30 feet. One window, high on the wall, looks out at the street, but tonight it's draped with a heavy dark blue curtain. The lab is dim, and every wall is covered with shelves filled with books, archaeological specimens, artifacts. Only the fluorescent bar hanging from the ceiling glares to illuminate the ancient skeleton laid out on the stainless steel table in the middle of the room. I glance at the old man sitting on the stool in the dark corner. Moss Pale Horse is a stoop-shouldered little man with a round face and hooked nose. He frowns at the concrete floor. His gray braid drapes his shoulder like a fuzzy snake. He is gently rubbing the medicine bag that hangs from a leather cord around his throat. It's filled with sacred things, things his spirit helper told him to collect when he went on his first vision quest at the age of